It's your boy Tipsy Japan back with another episode of Atas Across Time and Space. Here we are, episode 33. And I got my co-host right here with me. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself, even though he doesn't need the introduction. You got that. Blow!
Yo, it's your boy Ace, man. Cross culture. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to, without this podcast to step to. You know,
Step
we
two.
back. Step two. Step
Step
two.
two?
Step two. Step two.
Yeah. Yeah, boy. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's been a wild year. All right. It was a wild year. It's a wild time back crossing the states. And I wanted to, check in with you guys. I did check in with a lot of our listeners, but we didn't have the capacity to do the podcast from on that side of the planet.
So, I mean, don't keep them hanging. Let them know what was going on the last couple weeks.
Well, that's exactly.
I mean, you don't got to go into too much detail, but let them know.
Well, they never say, hey, that's too much detail, TVC Japan. Like, I didn't want to know that. Too much info. All right, keep us at a distance. Don't share. But yeah. So what was going on? I needed to spend some time at home with Mom Dukes. She was going through some things, still going through some things, but I mean, you can't just really understand everything that's happening with your folks through this internet thing. Sometimes you need to be there in person, and it was that time. I got the call, and we went, my wife and I, and we gave some of that Genki to get things back on track, and that's what we did. It was an infusion of love and support, and it goes both ways. But yeah, it was good to be there from BNCT from the 21st of July to the 6th of August, just a few days ago, and I'm still jet lagging. So please do not get upset if I just conk out right in the middle of this podcast. I'm going to try my best.
Dang.
It won't happen. It hasn't happened yet. But yeah, this time of day is like 11:30 p.m. in the States, and I'm kind of on their clock still. So
on the East Coast, yeah.
Heads up to me. What's been going on? What's been going on these last 2 weeks? How we were radio silent.
Last 2 weeks, I mean, been business as usual, really. I've been stepping up my step game. Somebody at work, yeah, like the 10,000 a day, tracking that.
Oh, you marching?
Yeah. So somebody at my job, they usually have more steps than me in the morning, and it was like, whoa, how many steps do you have? And it's like, oh yeah, I already got 3,000. And she's just like
3,000 in the morning. Okay.
Yeah, 3,000 in the morning when she gets to work. And I'm just like, whoa, I gotta step up my game, I gotta pass her. So instead of just a haphazard rivalry, we decided, okay, every single day until the end of the month, 10,000 every day. I was like, oh,
that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is now. So I've been doing 10,000 a day. I'm planning like trips on Sundays so that I can make sure that I get those 10,000. Like do little trips, outings with the family so that I can, have fun and not really worry about getting the 10,000, but still be getting 10,000.
Okay, now are you getting your 10,000 on, land, water, or in the air?
I mean, because you can't do it on the water or the air because they don't count it as steps. They don't count it as steps.
One of our best listeners, Water Pulse Laser, who's checking in. Yeah, he's getting his steps on water. All right,
on water.
Pray for that. You got to pray for that. All right, that's no joke.
I ain't got that faith.
All right.
I ain't got that
Yeah.
faith.
All right. It's good to have him. Good to have him listening in, though. Yeah, I mean, like some folks are definitely stepping up with their S Health or the different steppers. As a matter of fact, there's an app that I'd like to share with you guys, and we should be getting some ad revenue about that. Because it's available on your Galaxy Watch. We both got the same Galaxy Watch 4, Series 4. Is that what they call it?
That 5 just got released.
It did, but it doesn't have the rotating bezel, so I'm not interested.
Oh yeah,
they got the Pro. They got the Pro, but it doesn't have a rotating bezel. Like I like this this click. Listen to the click.
Yeah, I do like that.
That's so important. That like tops it off. And when it's not there are other smartwatches that have the Google kind of OS built into a Wear OS.
Wear OS. Yeah, the Galaxy Watch 4 has the Wear OS.
Yeah, I mean there are other smart watches with Wear OS in it that have bezels that don't rotate. So Samsung, please, when you get to the 6, like 2 years from now or a year from now, bring it back. Bring back the rotating bezel, because that technology right there is dope, and it's nice to have.
Yeah,
I know, nonprofit sponsor plug. It's crazy. I know. Sooner or later, when they see
money for this,
all of our listeners are on that S Health, then you'll see. No, they'll call me. All right, or maybe I'll call them. C25K is the name of the app.
C25K.
And yes, it has an app on your smartphone and a companion app made for the Galaxy Watch 4. All right. So it's part of like the Wear OS, catalog. But a lot of people recommend it. Like, I don't know, it's like 7 million. And yeah, that's one of the things I installed recently on both. And I'm going to be using that. I'm not playing around. All right. We're already halfway through August, but man, it feels like March to me. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now what we're going to do today, though, what we're going to do today is a little different from, what you guys are used to. We're going to do a recap of what we've kind of covered over the course of the last 6 months.
6 months.
Only half the year. Now you can talk about from the beginning of the year, like, resolutions and all that good stuff. It can go in that direction. It can be the recent past. And then currently what's going on right now, what's brewing in the pot, and where we're going, for the rest of this year. What goals need to get done before 2023? All right. Before 2022 is all said and done, what needs to be done. So that's what we're talking about today. We've got a few books that we've put away, but there have also been books that we haven't had the opportunity to discuss, and I'd like to shine some light on those. What literature or what speaker or what thinker has got you thinking this year, besides Mr. Harari? I mean, you could go to Mr. Harari. That's cool. Or Ta-Nehisi. That's cool. But are there any other speakers that we haven't
really
shed light on?
Really good books.
Yeah.
I mean, for this year, I haven't read as much as I would like to, and I haven't listened to a lot of long form information, more the traditional set. So I've been doing like a little more TikTok, and I've been getting into working more with my hands, as I was showing TPC earlier. Like I'm looking into getting into taking apart controllers. So I was
he's showing me a controller
in that. Yeah, like these are all the guts. So that's what I've been getting into, and doing research into what type of paints can go on and how the application of the paint needs to happen and all that good stuff. But I know that one thing that I have been seeing and hearing that I've been disagreeing with. There's a lot of conflict there. This guy, Tate, I think it's Andrew Tate or something.
Andrew
he's
Tate.
Like, yeah,
you don't like when Andrew Tate is talking.
He's wild, my guy. I'm telling you, he's just wild. He's talking about something like, we need to cure veganism. Like, these people who are vegan are stupid. Like, salads are not conducive to life. Like, salads are not a thing. I don't eat vegetables. All I eat is meat. And you're not gonna get gains from meal prepping and stuff like this. And it's like, what the heck? Who is this guy? Turns out like he's like I think he's a MMA fighter.
Okay.
Or a boxer, one of the two. I'm just like, what the heck? But I just keep seeing him repeatedly. I'm just like, yo,
right.
Who is this guy? The one thing I agreed with, he said that he doesn't vape, which a lot of people is really big. So he said that he doesn't vape because
e-cigarettes?
He doesn't do that. And the reason why he said that he doesn't do it is because he said these things are like mass manufactured. This is what he said, mass manufactured in China, and they're still getting a profit off you when you pay 99 cents for it, and you're upset when you get sick and there's these health issues that come from it tasting like, bubble gum or wild cherry and blah, blah, blah. It's like, these things aren't regulated the way they should be.
They aren't. They're not normal cigarettes. Huh?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, smoking in general isn't good for you, but there's a lot more chemicals to make it taste good that you're inhaling. Right.
Okay, so I mean, he's kind of rattled you this year, just like you keep seeing him pop up everywhere, and he's annoying. But annoying. It gives you food for thought.
Yeah, at the very least, I'm thinking the things that come against you can solidify who you are. And that's kind of how I have to take it. So if somebody saying like, oh, I'm atheist and I don't believe there's a God, and so, oh, okay, well, that's good for you. You're not going to just shake me off and say, oh, well, there's no way to prove God. And it's like, well, there's no way to not prove him either. So, I mean, the absence of proof is not the proof of absence.
Right. The exception proves the rule, kind of thing. Well, that's interesting to have that type of list or speaker and putting his words in your ears. The way you would counter a lot of the stuff is the topic of discussion, I guess, or topic of study, because if he makes some good points, I mean, people could be swayed in that direction.
And that's the biggest thing when you hear something that's good. Yeah, he's like, oh well, there's a kernel here. I can take this and apply it to my wealth of knowledge. But the issue is that in the internet, there's a lifetime of truth, a lifetime of goodness, but there's an eternity of foolishness. So you gotta sift through everything.
Lifetime is
you gotta sift through everything.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. One of the best, I'd say one speaker that I've gone back to a lot this year, and it's interesting. I want to say the best. It's not that I agree with everything that he says, but for the last few years, Elliot Hulse has just been one of the people that I subscribe to on the internet that I've gone back to and say, he's been either consistent or growing. And when he grows, like he'll admit it, that he was in this place before where it was just like, super aggressive, blah, blah, blah. And now with his, he got in trouble recently with Vice, which is, kind of like this media company that picks up a lot of the seedier things in society and, puts it on YouTube because people are interested in it and finding out. Like they'll have like a interview with porn stars or whatever to find out like what life is actually like,
behind the camera type thing.
Yeah. But Elliot, or E as he calls himself, like he will. He has a very kind of traditional mindset when it comes to gender roles and what the household is supposed to look like, So it's really interesting to see somebody out there like that who's not just like, just only like reading the word or whatever, but applying it to their lives and to say, all right, well, this is what I have in my life. And like his whole thing is about making men strong. Right. He has something called like Strength Camp. And it's interesting. It's really interesting just to hear what he has to say in a world where you just don't see that. He's really counterculture, and I tend to lend my ear to people who are counterculture, good or bad, just to find out like what their lives are like. And he's put me on a lot of different authors, so it's when I look at my book list for this year, and I look at my book list and I look at my lexicon, because some of the words that he uses it's funny, like the art or the writers or authors that I'm listening to or reading are using the same language, and he comes back and uses it. Like there's something recently he said, analysis paralysis. And I remember reading that word analysis paralysis, or hearing that word analysis paralysis. And then for him to say it, it was just like, oh, right, we're reading the same thing, Analysis paralysis just means that, well, I mean, have you heard that expression before?
Analysis paralysis? Yeah. I have. So I would think that it's more so when new information comes in, the inability to digest. That's what it sounds like to me.
The inability to fully digest, or the inability to make a decision or to make a move, because you can see, the negative points, the positive points. You don't want to take the negative points that come with, the reality that when you make a decision, you have to give something up. You're silent and you're thinking to yourself, and you're really like, inwardly focused rather than thinking about the actual changes that could happen once that decision is made. I could have been stuck in analysis paralysis when the opportunity to take my recent promotion came up. Because I could just stay as an instructor, and this is how much I can make. I know for sure, but I didn't know what it would actually be like if I moved up and stepped up to that higher position I have right now. Now that I have it, it's like, wow, I can kind of instruct when I want to rather than instructing because I have to. And I have more control over my like daily day-to-day, and knowing what that actually feels like, it makes you think differently, So yeah, I mean, sometimes it's really important to kind of take that step. I was in church today, and now as we move towards, our current situation, I'm sorry, I'm having problems with my banners right now. They're just not moving. So don't worry about the banners if you're on YouTube. It's a recap, but now we're moving towards right this moment. When I was in church today and got the call at the end, like we were going through John chapter 48, chapter 8, verse 48 to 59. All right. And had the call at the end, like, if you feel the Lord, if you pronounce the Lord as your personal Lord and Savior, if you want to walk with the Lord, blah, blah, blah. And then the last one, if you want to be connected to this church. And, when it got to the last one, it's like raise your hand. When we got to the last one, like, if you want to be connected to this church, I was like, yeah, I would like to be connected, not just be like floating around like a lily pad on the pond type of thing, but to actually have like my kind of base. And I have a base, but my base church is gone. Like I had St. Michael's, which is next to my house, and I have left the building. Right. All of my documents as a Catholic, background person, all my documents moved to St. Justin's down the street. And I've never been to St. Justin's Mass, and chances are I'm not going to be there anytime soon. Like I need a.
So hold on. Back up.
Go ahead.
You said St. Michael's is like absorbed. St. Michael's is no more?
Yeah, it's gone.
Oh no. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
so hold on. When you were there in Connecticut, like there's no mass held there?
Oh, well, that's the thing. There was something held there. And hopefully it was of the Lord. All right.
Oh, I don't know.
To be honest. All right. So this is what happened. St. Michael's, was absorbed into St. Justin's about 10 years ago. All right. And it's been quite a while, actually. But the building is still there. It's a historic building. Everything was gutted, but the pews are probably still there. I haven't been inside, just to see what's going on. But when I went back home, and it's not that I live in a bad neighborhood per se, but I don't live in the nicest neighborhood.
Neighborhood. I mean, Hartford isn't terribly nice, to
Yeah, well,
begin
some
with.
parts are. Some parts are terribly nice, but
No, West
not
Hartford is terribly nice.
yeah,
Hartford itself, not so much.
yeah. So Saint Michael's, like right next to Saint Michael's, there's a rectory, which is where the nuns and the priests would like live. That were servicing the church, and that building is like boarded up now, right? It's boarded up.
The rectory, or that like halfway house dormitory thing that was on Clark, because the rectory was in back of that.
I thought that front building was part of it.
I don't know. I always used to see different people living there, like people who weren't working in the church living there.
All those windows are boarded up, but in spite of it being
that's been like that for a while though.
In spite of it being boarded up, there are people there in front of it playing music at all kinds of night. And and it is loud and it's Hispanic.
Boisterous.
Right? And it's yes. It's like doom, 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 the whole night through. Right? For like the first week, every night, as loud as possible. And the police don't want to come because they have bigger fish to fry.
Jeez.
Right, and then you call police on your neighbors, and you have bigger problems because who's the snitch? Blah, 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 Lovely when they have like a tree in front of the house, right? And people are, I don't want to rant about the neighbors, but they're not my neighbors right now. And they got swings in the tree, swinging out into the middle of the street.
What?
It needs to stop. It needs to stop right now. It's wild.
What
wild. I know. What the heck? All right. Wow. So, I mean, that being said, I don't want to get off track, but I am off track. the listener, one of the best speakers I'm listening to recently is Elliot Hulse, and I mean, he's made some recommendations for good reading, such as Iron John and by Robert Bly. Awesome. All right. Awesome. As a young man coming up, like that is something I wish everybody read, or I sure wish I would have read it 10, 15 years ago. Right. At this very moment, what I like to do is to go to your Scribd book list. I want to know the top 5, the last things you read, the top 5.
I wish I could pull it up.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. When I was thinking, when I actually said it, I was like, wait a minute, that might be a little different.
Yeah, I'm on my phone, so
Well, no, this is your homework. This is your homework. Tell the people next week. All right. When we get back to cross culture, let them know. For me right now, Grant Cardone's "Be Obsessed or Be Average" is the audio book that I'm listening to, and I mean, it was a recommendation, but Grant Cardone, I'm sorry, it was not that interesting.
It wasn't hitting. Oh, damn.
It wasn't like, I mean, he was telling a story about his like ADHD and being obsessed about stuff, and then trying to like die that down and suppress it. And because of he tried to suppress that, he ended up going the other way and taking all kinds of other drugs and being obsessed with those. So instead of being or embracing his ability to be obsessed about something and focusing, and actually focusing that, he kind of was going the wrong way. So I mean, he managed to get his life together, and it's good. It's okay. All right. I mean,
it's okay.
Personally, like I know so many people that get this ADHD. I'm not gonna put anybody on the spot, but people are awfully close, and they were given the opportunity to be diagnosed, and it seems like when I was coming up, like you couldn't even get the opportunity because of stigma that would be attached to it.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Black people don't talk about mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Have you? Go ahead.
It's just that whole stigma. Like Black people don't talk about mental health. Black people don't get don't go to psychologists. Black people don't talk about these issues, And so the Black community usually has deep-seated emotional, mental issues that could be dealt with, especially when people make the joke all the time. It's basically a meme at this point.
Yeah, bring it in. I don't have a joke, but
no. I have to, because it's like, oh yeah, dad left to go get milk and he never came back type thing. Yeah, that a lot of Black people don't have a father in the home. I mean, whether it be because their father was promiscuous and you were just like one of the many, or you got locked up, or the relationship didn't work out. But because the relationship not working out isn't the top thing, it's like below the other two. So it's like the vast majority just didn't grow up with a father, and it's hard. I mean, I had my father in my life. He wasn't in my household. So that did make things a little bit harder. Our relationship was a little more stressed than it needed to be.
Strained,
but
it was
strained, stress and strain.
Yeah.
So I mean, but he was there. He was there in the capacity that he could be as a traditional Jamaican. But I mean, that's a whole nother thing. Black West Indian men, or West Indians in general, not showing affection toward their children. I mean, we can go on and on and on.
Not showing and not knowing how. Yeah.
Like, oh, my parents raised me like this, iron fist, so I need to make sure that I do the same. I turned out okay, and like, no, you have trauma that you aren't dealing with. You're reacting to these things unprocessed. You're just reacting to these things based on the trauma that you've been. And it's education is the best. Sorry, I thought my light was going to knock over. Education is the best thing to make sure that we stop the cycle.
Right. Education in action,
not just knowing it.
I mean, sometimes you hear these things online, or you listen to somebody on a podcast somewhere, you listen to us and you feel like, oh, well, now I feel educated about the thing. No, you don't know it till you do it in the biblical sense. All right. Adam knew his wife in the biblical sense.
Chill.
Look, look.
Whoa. We got mixed. You got a mixed audience.
Look, you got to know it. You got to know it well. All right. And that's, you got to know it through action. There's no actually understanding something fully if you're not in it, literally. So, going forward with this year, it's halfway done. We're in August. We don't if you have to get ready, you have to get ready if you is ready. Stay ready.
No. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. There you go.
If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. So what you ready to do going into 2022, the second half?
The second half, man. We already started.
What you failing to do?
So right now,
what you doing?
I have started actively and intentionally working on my punctuality. I've noticed that it's been slipping. So I want to be respectful of people's time, and I want people to be respectful of my time, But if I want somebody to do something for me, I can't not be willing to do it.
Right. Oh,
so
that's two different things. Being on time and being not willing to do something.
No. If I said that I want people to be respectful of my time, therefore I need to be respectful of theirs. So I need to be punctual if I want people to respect my time. And by being punctual, I show that I respect their time.
Oh, okay. And it also shows
I can't expect them to be respectful if I'm not willing.
We are willing to invest the time and do the thing properly by being there on time. Show up late, that means that you wasn't serious. No way. Even if you say you're gonna do it, but you ain't even there. I hear that. I hear that for sure. I am, and we've been on that tip for a while, accountability partner.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
I opened up to my crew back home about my whole Trek journey, because you know what I mean. When you're working on something for a long time, the fact that you're working on it, in secret first is good. Then at the very beginning is not so good, but yeah, I had to open up to them. I opened up to them this morning from like 2 to 5 a.m. because that's what jet lag is like. All right, you see some things. All right, first thing in the morning, and yeah, the second half of this year, I'm going to be more accountable. All right, be more on time.
Okay.
Reflect, check in with myself more. All right, stay up, exercise. Yeah, I'm gonna catch you because I gained like 10 kilos. I gained like 10 kilos.
Look. I wasn't going to say nothing.
Really wanted was a kilo.
You've dropped down to second place in my standings on S Health. Just saying.
Not for long.
Just
not
saying.
For long. The month is not done. Hey, that's where we're going. We're going to finish out this year strong. All right. Trex is up.
Strong. Let's do it.
Get in there. All right. It's your boy Tipsy Japan telling you, get yourself a pen, a pad, write it down, and subscribe. It's been a pleasure. It's good to see you. Ace hit him off.
Oh, you already know it's Ace of Cross Culture. Next week, episode 34 is going to be on my channel. You can probably find it in the description down there somewhere. But definitely, until next time, stay prayed up. Be blessed.
Nin.